All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday 10X interview, sponsored by Trust Engine for the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. For over 15 years, I have been interviewing top producing mortgage professionals, and today we have someone really special, someone who I've interviewed multiple times, Hunter Marckwardt, coming to you live out of Northern California. You're in Danville, right? Like specifically?
I live in Danville. Office is Walnut Creek.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
So Northern California market, like what about a half an hour from the city, also
yeah,
known as San
exactly. Yeah.
Francisco?
No traffic about a half an hour east of San Francisco.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
So Hunter, how you doing, brother?
Dave, I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling good. I got good energy. You and I were going back and forth this morning, got a nice morning routine. Always nice when you knock those out, every time. I've never asked you, do you ever not do it? Because like I don't,
I
I'm about 80%, and when the 20% I don't do it, I'm like, why didn't I do this morning?
I have this entire year, I have not missed a cold plunge one single day that I'm home. So when
Wow.
I'm, on the road, I'm not cold plunging, but I've hit the cold plunge every day this year. Sauna, my walk, 90%. I mean, the only time I don't do my sweaty morning walk with a ruck vest is when I just run out of time. Like I have to be on a call real early. But I get it. I'm getting after it this year. But I would not say that's like my whole life. Like
Yeah.
this year, I took my health to another level. What about you? So you're 80% of your morning routine? By the way, what is
Yeah.
your morning routine, real quick, for everybody?
I mean, this morning I open up, do a little Bible app. I do meditation for 15 minutes. I journal. I literally write down you and I both use Evernote. I go my sleep on my Aura ring, my restfulness, and my weight. So I just read, that's how I start my journal, and then I just write how I'm feeling, and that's about probably a 5-minute exercise. Then I'm doing a push-up contest with a bunch of folks inside of our division. So today we're at 84 push-ups, so we go up one a day for a year. So
Nice.
you end up finishing. It's crazy. I did it like 4 years ago. You end up doing
Yeah,
57,000.
I got halfway through the year a couple of years ago, and my shoulder started hurting,
Yeah,
and I gave up. I quit.
yeah. But it's super fun. So then I did that, and then I go out and I run about 4 miles. Then I come back, I jump in my pool,
You're
and
running 4 miles a day.
yeah,
Nice. So you're
yeah.
putting since last time I saw you on our walk and talk, you have upgraded the health game.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm between a 4 and 6 mile run 5 days a week.
Wow, that's awesome, Hunter.
That's
Congratulations. So
probably not good for me, seeing as I mean, I'm 6'3", 250. So there's, everyone tells you that it's probably not great for your joints, but it's like, it makes me feel good.
dude,
So
hey, if it makes you feel good and you're getting the blood flowing, check. You're killing
yeah,
it.
totally.
So so for anyone who has not heard of who is Hunter Markwart and why is he the 10X interview today, he's also the author of the Sunday Thoughts. So if you go to sundaythoughts.com, it's a newsletter that Hunter's been doing for, have you been doing this for like 10 years? How many years have you been
Yeah, I've been
doing
doing it for
Sunday
like
Thoughts?
12 years now. Yeah,
12 years. It
12
started
years.
off as just an email to people that he coached and people that were close to him in the mortgage business. He was a core coach for a number of years. And then it became a thing. Like he just started adding more people. I interviewed him one time as a top producer, and I'm like, "Will you add me to that list?" And now he's got a website. And guys, it's gold. It's incredible leadership. I look forward to Hunter's Sunday Thoughts. So check that out. He is a top producing leader of a team. His team was, weren't you number 5 at cross country this last month in
No,
October?
this last month, yeah. I thought you meant overall. I think right now we're number 8. Year to date, we're 8 in the
Okay, well,
company.
out of how many loan officers? Like a
A
couple
lot, a
thousand?
lot. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I want to say 4,000 LOs.
Yeah.
So
So, incredible. You guys did about 22 million as a team. Is that right?
yeah, last month we did 22 million. We'll finish the year. I mean, we had a blowout month. I mean, we're year to date, we're at exactly 131 million. So we'll
So
close the year. Expectation would be 150 to 160 million bucks year to date, and then or in the year, and then our division as a whole, help support the division as a whole. I think we'll do about 2.5 billion this year.
So guys, did you catch all that? Like, why am I interviewing Hunter? He's killing it as a leader of a team. He provides leadership support over a division that's doing 2.5 billion. He was a core coach. How many people do you think you coached over your career as a core coach?
Uh, so you got 24 students a year, and so 240, 250, 240. I
Coached
mean,
a
no,
lot of
it's an exact
high
number. It's 240.
240. Okay. So that's why we're interviewing Hunter today. So Hunter, when I asked you to do this, you said yes. Thank you for that. We went back and forth via text on like what should be the topic, what should be the headline, and you gave me a voice memo. Which, by the way, if you are a modern mortgage professional and you have a mobile phone, and if you're not using voice memos, videos, you're just not using this device to its full capabilities. So do that. But you gave me a voice memo about plays and playbooks. Why don't you tell the full story to everybody? So we set this up, and then I'll start breaking down. Like, let's do the 10 minutes of the setup and the why, and then we'll get into tactics and plays.
Yeah. So, I mean, the story behind the play, obviously, I mean, everyone knows about playbooks, right? I mean, and I think for me, the most relevant one is I need to be able to relate to things based on different stories and how you apply that to your own. It's like there's a term I love, which is reverse the lens, right? So it's like from a client experience, whatever. It's like if you can reverse the lens and see how the other person, I mean, it's having empathy, really, I think, to a degree. But I'm on this call once a month. I don't think any of these guys would mind me saying their names. It's Lisa Wells, it's Oleg Tikech, it's Jim Reed, and it's JJ Mazzo. And we all used to coach together. And we just decided once a month we get on a call for an hour and just talk about how
Hey,
we're all
hey, by the way,
doing.
you said Lisa, Oleg, JJ, and who was the other one you said?
The is Jim Reed.
Okay, got it.
So the five of us get on a call. We just go around the horn with like, it's basically like instant coaching. Like, what's one problem that you have? And then you get the four other people to give you advice on how they would solve it. Right. So, and Oleg closed 50 loans last month. I mean, he's just a monster, and he's always just in his game. And Oleg started talking about, the fact that he was walking. We were talking about different playbooks, and like we were actually talking about rate shoppers and like the time and the energy that you put into someone that literally doesn't want to talk to you, they just want to shop rates. And then we were talking about the fact that like he kept mentioning the term playbook. He goes, I got a playbook for that. And then we were talking about him walking by one of his team members, and he thought this gal was just on the phone or just texting her friend some pictures, and he got kind of annoyed by it. So he asked her about it afterwards because they're slammed. And he's like, why are you just, it's like, if you don't mind me asking, like, what were you just texting your friend? Like, we gotta work. And she said no, she was talking to a lead, and she was converting the lead. She was just going through. They happened to start talking about kids, and they were sending each other pictures of their kids. And Oleg made the point of that's a different playbook. Like, that's a different play out of his playbook now that he's thinking about it, to say, like, he never would have converted that lead, right? It's not in his nature to be talking to anybody about, he's an executioner of loans. He's not trying to get to know clients. He's not trying to, so the point is that if he was running that play, that lead would not have been converted because someone else on his team was running the play in a different mindset, in a different tone. It created a positive result that he wouldn't have done on his own. So fast forward, then we are at our sales rally for CCM, and we had Peyton Manning speak. And Peyton Manning was just talking about, he brought up the whole story of Omaha. Anybody that watches football, anyone that's a fan of Peyton Manning knows, when he's screaming Omaha, he's calling an audible. And an audible is just a different play depending on what the defense looks like when they show up. And so anyway, Dave, the more I thought about it, the more I'm just going, I need to have a playbook that we execute on all the time, right? And there are if you, and I understand this isn't like new news. I just think that in this environment, you and I were talking about it. It's like, yes, it's hard doing loans right now. People are confused, people are frustrated, people are in burnout, whatever, all that stuff. It's like, if we're more intentional about what play we are running on whether or not it's a sales playbook, a process playbook, a product playbook, if you're going into the calls and meetings that you have to go into internally and externally, for me, with the mindset of what play am I running, which causes me to go back to think and be more intentional and purposeful on what are the plays that I have in my arsenal, right? Like what play am I running at any given point in time? It's just, for me, it's helped create clarity. I'm on the beginning stages of creating the playbook. So I don't want to act like I've got this all figured out, but I mean, that's the point of the playbook. So
Okay, so let's do this. So let's right now, like we may come up with multiple playbooks because, like, if you're a football team, there's the offensive playbook, and then there's the defensive playbook, and then there are special teams playbooks. So, to win a football game, you've got it's not just one playbook. Like all the defensive guys aren't necessarily learning the offensive playbooks. But for right now, let's just assume we're going to build out one playbook and let's call it the playbook on how to win in November and December of 2024. Like, and I, by the way, audience, I want you guys to play along. I'm gonna ask a question of Hunter right now, and he's just gonna stream of consciously answer this. But I want you as an audience to almost like gonna ask Hunter, but I'm asking you too, and I want you to play along. I want you to answer it with text in chat. So here goes. When I when you think of your playbooks on how to win right now in this market, just start listing, like don't describe the plays in detail. Just start like listing plays that you're running, like just start listing plays. I have some plays that I'm teaching loan officers how to run right now, but why don't you list it off and then audience? What are the if you're listening to this, what are the top 3 plays that you're running? And start, by the way, I hope you share some of this publicly, but I would advise you start listing this out right now. So Hunter, list some plays. Just label them as a title.
buy before you sell.
Okay, buy before you sell. Very intuitive. Well, by the way, I can guarantee you guys, I'm gonna ask more questions on that one, but keep going.
Um, Initial lead intake.
Initial lead intake. Okay.
Proactive realtor communication.
Proactive realtor communication.
Um, Friday slide dial, 1 minute slide dials on market conditions to my realtors.
Okay, the Friday realtor call. Obviously, he's using slide dial technology enabled Friday realtor calls.
Um, Proactive communication on clients that are in the middle of writing in a volatile rate environment. Right.
So,
So it's
so
like, so like if someone calls you to write an offer and you have to tell them, and you know that they're writing offers, you know that they're actively looking for properties, and interest rates in the course of 50 days went from 6% to 7%, and their payment just went from whatever, 4,000 to 4,800, whatever that number is. If you're not proactively communicating with what's going on in the market for those people, it automatically causes them to go shopping. Like it's just a fact. Like people go shopping when you shock them with information. If you're proactive in giving them information along the way, then it will prevent that from happening. So so another play, Dave, is just proactive communication on refinances. Like if for everybody that call, I mean, like this is the play. I know we're not getting into details, but it's like when you close a purchase, you reach out in 30 days, you check on how they're doing, if they got their bill, if everything makes sense. You check in 90 days to see if they enjoy the house and what's going on. You confirm with where interest rates are. In 120 to 150 days, you're talking to them again about potentially putting together documentation on refinancing if the market is better off than where they were previously. Um, if you're proactive about that, you're golden. And if you're I always equate it like if if you're my financial advisor, Dave, and I call you and say, Dave, should I sell this stock? And you say yes, like that, if the answer is yes, like you're not doing your job, you know? I mean, whereas if if my advisor called me and told me to sell a stock, then I would say, okay, that's why I'm paying you. You're looking out for my best interest. So if a client has an incoming phone call to you saying, hey, our rate's lower, should I refinance? And your answer is yes, you're really terrible at your job and you're causing people to go shopping. Whereas if you're proactively telling them what's going on in the market, then they just trust you and they're going to refinance with you as opposed to going shopping. So that's just one example of a playbook. I mean, it's like it's what we do, but like I need more like we need to declare it as it's a play in our playbook to make sure that we're doing it every single time.
Okay, I'm going to keep rifting. I want to get a whole bunch of plays over the next 5 minutes. Mike is the only one that has played the game from the audience. Guys, we have 92 people live on Zoom right now, and only Mike has given us buy before you sell, first time home buyer seminars, data bank management conversations with realtors, seasonal gifts to my best clients. Guys, those are all plays. Want to
Non-QM mortgages, right?
non-QM, the
Banks.
non-QM
I mean,
play.
like just the product sets that we have available to us now to help us compete against. It's like our mindset is if we can't do your loan, no one can. And you have to know, like you have to stay educated on, I would even say just AI tools on a lot of our own various companies are coming out with AI tools that help us understand products and guidelines. I mean, we should be asking, we don't need to ask underwriters questions as often as we used to. We can go to AI tools and ask every question about how bank statements loan works, how DSCR loans work, how whatever it is. I mean, RSU income calculations. I mean, there's so many. We have to be better than we've ever been, and it requires us to be better. We have to, like, as much as I'm not a technical loan officer. I'm not. I wish I was more technical than I am, but it doesn't mean that you just have the excuse of doing nothing. We have to be doing. You have to be upgrading your knowledge on what products are available out there to be able to serve all the different clients that come your way.
All right, let's keep going, guys. I'm gonna share a bunch of things real quick, and then we're gonna prioritize the top three that we're gonna focus on, and then if we get to a fifth play and a sixth play, we'll add that. So, Danny, thank you for jumping in, sending out Thanksgiving cards instead of Christmas next month. So cool. That's a play. So, by the way, asking your clients for referrals to CPAs and financial planners, that's a play. Having a first meeting with a CPA or financial planner, that's a play. Someone mentioned the whole data bank. I'm going to show the Trust Engine app because creating plays is something that we're doing at scale. By the way, guys, when you get an inquiry alert that you've got a customer that's running a credit report with someone else, that's a play. When you have someone in your database that qualifies and has a high propensity score to move up, that's a play. When you have someone in your database that has a high propensity score and qualifies to buy a first home, that's a play. When someone lists their home and you get an alert, that's a play. And one of the things that I'm going to show you what we're doing in our app, but this guys, you should be doing all this. So like in our app, we're like giving the loan officer some advice on what to say. We've got some scripts, what to say if you call, what to say if you text. And then, by the way, guys, you need to make plays so they're so easy that you could like click a button, text, copy, paste. So I am kind of demoing our app a little bit. So a little bit of a trust engine commercial woven into a lesson, but an integration with MortgageCoach, being able to like if someone lists their home, that's someone that's selling their home. They're either moving up or moving down. You should be like, hey, I can help you with that next purchase. Let me show you a couple options. And by the way, I have finance strategies to help you sell that house. Let me talk to your realtor. Like there's a play that you can run with every data opportunity. Um, by the way, Hunter, what do you think of that app?
I love it.
Yeah, I'm working to get it approved and rolled out over at Cross Country. Hopefully, we'll get that done one day.
Cool.
So, Hunter, what are three plays that you want to like break down and teach now? We're like, we got 40 minutes left. Although I heard you got to leave like 5, 10 minutes early. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
5 or 10, which one?
Seven. How about seven?
How about
I
eight?
just got, I got another, yeah, I just got another call right after that. I got to prep
All
for
right,
a little
I'll
bit.
get you off 8 minutes early and then I'll just go
By the way,
free
I
dial.
apologize. I thought we were on for a half an hour.
No, it's all good.
That was
Don't apologize.
my fault.
I don't I
Um,
always want you for more time than a half an hour. That's not enough Hunter time.
so, I mean, when you ask me what three plays, I mean, it's hard for me because I do think there's plays that are just lifelong plays, and then there's tactical plays in between, right? And like when I would say one of them for me is the lead intake conversation and what people are doing, but it's no different than what I've always done, which is, those notes that I send out. I take the conversation with the client. I then send those exact notes out to the business partner.
Whoa, whoa,
So,
whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I want to do this in a teachable fashion. So we're going to
okay.
unpack lead intact play, which, by the way, guys, this is the heart of conversion. This is the heart of winning at scale. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that is what we are unpacking. So break it down, like describe the play, the Hunter Markwart play.
It is leads come in. I mean, first of all, by the way, I guess this is, I mean, another play is how are you getting referred by your referral partners? You need to know that.
Okay, well,
But
okay,
but
we'll do that next. How do you
let's
get referred?
assume that I'm on a Zoom call. Lead comes in. Our primary goal is to get those people, depending on their urgency, to get them on a Zoom call with me as soon as possible for a 30-minute lead intake call.
Say 30 minute?
30 minutes.
Okay, got it.
So that is my version, by the way, Dave, of taking a loan application. Okay. Like I want to be high level. I don't want to be asking people for social security numbers, things like that. But so that call for me is truly, literally understanding. I fill out, and I can send them to you. I'm sure I've sent them to you before.
You have it. We'll take it again. Like within this call, you have an
Yeah,
intake form that is kind of a pre-app
yeah,
or
it's a
helps fill out
pre-app,
an
but
app.
it's also, by the way, it's personalized. I mean, like it's how you have these conversations, not just what you're asking for. It's how you're asking for it, right? I mean, it's like if I'm asking for, it's how are you referred to me? It's like, hey, Dave, I appreciate Dana giving you my contact information. Before I start, what did she tell you about us? Just so I have a starting point with you, right? Like it gives me an indication. Did Dana give her my name out to with three other people? Is she fully committed to me? What is the relationship that she has with the client? It allows me to understand how much I'm endorsing her, how I'm endorsing her, what I'm saying about her, things like that, right? Just first-time home buyers, price points, timing. What is the reason for your move? Dave, you're moving up right now. Like, if you don't mind me asking, I know the rates are higher than they have been in a long time. You're currently sitting at a 3.5% interest rate. Why are you moving right now? Right? You just end up engaging in a more purposeful conversation and you're establishing some relationship with these people. And it goes down to, are they talking to other lenders right now? Are they talking to other realtors right now? What is their price point? What is their down payment? What do they do? It's the basic lead intake calls, but I'm trying to understand like what is the urgency on this? What is their commitment to us based on this call initially? And then I get the application over to them, and in general, I explain to them, say, look, what people hate about lenders is they go, they make everything easy, they make everything sound super easy, and then you go into contract and all hell breaks loose. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we have this conversation now. We talked about different price points in the 1.5 range. We're going to give you 3 or 4 different presentations, probably from like 1.4 to 1.6 million. Does that sound okay to you? Yeah, that sounds perfect. Okay, great. We're going to get back on a call with you, and we're going to review your pre-approval results by going through a presentation with you, which of course is Mortgage Coach. And we want to make sure that you understand, based on where you're buying, that you understand things like transfer tax, all of the closing costs that are involved, whether or not you want impounds. If we're doing if I'm having a more, I would say, strategic conversation with them, if we're trying to buy before you sell, we're explaining to them, like, hey, there's these different products that allow you to buy before you sell. There's various costs that are involved. We want to make sure that we have a complete strategy so that when you decide that you buying a house is what you want to do, that you know every cost, that you know every payment, and that you know what the strategy looks like on a going forward basis. And I say, Dave, on these calls every time, I say, Dave, at the end of the day, we as a team, we need you to believe that you have a greater chance of owning your next home with us doing your loan more than any other lender, or you shouldn't work with us. So when we're going through this presentation with you, we want to make sure that you're clear on everything that we're doing, that you understand the strategy that we're using. And if you have any questions or concerns along the way, please let us know. And then I get them the application. We get everything reviewed. We have the form. We have the next pre-approval call, which is walking through all the numbers. Then we get them fully underwritten. The whole time we're communicating with our realtor clients as to what's going on. And then we're, there's so much to unpack here, right? I mean, it's like every offer we make is, and I say this on this lead intake call too. It's like, Dave, every single time you're going to make an offer, we are going to update numbers for you. I don't care if we're going in at 1.45 versus 1.35. We want to make sure that there's no question as to what the payments are going to look like and what the closing costs are going to look like so that you're fully prepared. So I'm just trying to because I also know that most of my competition, they're just sending a loan application, right? They're just going through, hey, you're pre-approved up to 1.5. Once we go into contract, whatever, right? I mean, I don't even know what people say anymore. I mean, but it's just like, we want to be a part of every single offer that is being submitted. And I think that's where, like, even some of my folks on the East, our team members on the East Coast, it's like they deal with clients once they get in a contract. And like, I just don't understand that. To me, talk about this playbook, Dave, and I know I'm all over the place a little bit right now, but the playbook for me is every playbook starts on the front end with us being able to get involved with clients well ahead of them going into contract.
Okay. So I've only got 20 minutes left with you, and I want to make the most of this. So first of all, everybody in the audience, I hope you heard everything he said. And I also want to emphasize enough that this is what he does consistently. So there's a play for taking a lead, and I guarantee you he consistently schedules a 30-minute meeting where he's understanding that person as a human being. By the way, are you familiar with the acronym FORD? Like all the Ford questions: family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Is that how much of that conversation is Ford versus strategically understanding what they're trying to accomplish so you can come back with a financial strategy? How do you blend Ford things with strategic finance questions? And by the way, it probably varies from customer to customer.
It does vary from customer to customer, right? And I don't call them customers, I call them clients. But I mean, like, it is, yes, Dave, yesterday I was talking to this gal. It was very business. It was very, she was on disability and she's 50. And I'm like, I don't want to pry too much. We're having our initial conversation. And I'm like, I finally said, I'm like, okay, so if we're going to be able to use a distribution, she's like, yeah, well, I have cancer. I'm like, got it. Okay. And I just said to her, I'm like, are you okay? And she starts talking to me about it. She's like, well, I'm not sure if I'm okay yet. Like, we don't know. It's serious. It's breast cancer. It's, we're having the bottom. And I'm not, by the way, none of this, I think one of your favorite words, and me too, is authentic. I genuinely care about trying to help this lady buy this house. She's currently on top of a building, in a 4-unit building. She's on the top floor. It doesn't have an elevator. And the medication that she's taking creates massive joint pains for her, which is part of the reason we're trying to move her out, right? So like that, I mean, whether or not you call that Ford, whatever, I mean, for me, it's just like, that gives me greater purpose in what I'm trying to do for her. So yes, the strategy is going to be fairly simple. It's $1 million purchase price. She's going to put down $400,000. We've got a distribution of an IRA that we can use. She'll qualify with no problem. But we had a bigger conversation, and I think that's where people it is a combination of Ford. Now that you're saying it, it's a combination of Ford and strategy. But when people know that you actually care about them and you're humanizing their experience with you, if they can feel that, they're going to, there's a greater, and then you actually execute, mean, the other thing, Dave, that I think is a big concept for everyone to think about is people don't like salespeople because they create a perception of value and then they don't actually deliver on it. If you can create the perception of value, which includes caring about your clients, and then you can actually go and execute on that by knowing what playbook you're running, by having the right process in place, that to me is when the magic happens. So,
Got it. So I'm putting in that second meeting. It's a combination of Ford and strategic finance questions. And then he's scheduling another meeting where he is, he's vetted them now. They've, filled out his app. He understands what they're trying to accomplish. He understands who they are, human. He's made a personal connection. And now he's tailoring and teaching them how to finance, how he thinks they can solve that problem. And because I think buy before you sell it's a pretty complex process compared to what a lot of loan officers do. And I,
sure,
I know when I interviewed Jeremy Forcier recently, who's another $100 million producer, good friends with
great
Hunter.
friend.
Actually, I
Yep,
think Jeremy is the one that helped me get you on the mortgage coach team. I know for a long time we advocated and he was some of the influence that, turned you into a mortgage coach. So before I have you unpack the buy before you sell, because I would love for you to, like, this is what I'm doing. And if you have a mortgage coach experience that you could kind of show people on how you would use that in the process, I would love for you to do that. But is there you and I have talked about my personal code. There's these philosophies that I have. And for
yeah,
me, the part of my personal code that I founded Mortgage Coach on and that really drove me as a mortgage professional is my advice makes a difference. That was something that I built my value prop on, and then Mortgage Coach became like my way of that not being bullshit. Like, hey, my advice makes a difference. Check
yeah,
this out.
yeah.
Um, is there any values that you think power you, or like, do you have a code? I know you have a code like mine, but have you thought through some of the things that make up your code that drive this intake process, that drive the fact that you're a mortgage coach?
Yeah,
Anything come
I
to
mean,
mind?
yeah, I care. I mean, I legitimately care. Like, I understand that that might sound super big picture, but you have to care. So me caring about a client before and after a quote unquote transaction matters. Um, I want I want to be useful to the people that I'm serving. I mean, I don't want to be a commodity. I want someone when they're done. I don't think it's ego. I just want to be good at what I do. So when people leave, they go, I mean, holy crap, that was an unbelievable, that experience was very different than any experience I've had doing this, right? Like people that trust, your point, trust. By the way, I don't know why you don't, though yours should be published. The
What
dot,
should
your
be published?
your what I your 30 points or 28 points.
Oh, my code.
Your
Well, I'm thinking
code.
about turning it into a book and writing a book on
You should.
it. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it goes across anybody that's reading. If anybody disagreed with what you wrote, I mean, it's not like it's not healthy. So anyway, um, but Dave, I mean, like I want my number one thing is I want people to know that I care.
Okay, so
Is that
care, your intense care for the success, long-term, sustainable success of your clients and the professionalism is what drives that, like you're going beyond the transaction. So let's walk them through. Let's run the buy before you sell play. And then if you have a mortgage coach, I know you forwarded me a couple. I could pull it up on my screen or you can pull it up on your screen, but walk us
I'll have you
through
I'll have
how
you
you.
pull it up on yours. My computer's like I'm
Okay,
continuously
well,
jacked
before
up,
we
as you
pull it
well
up
know.
and go like presentation mode, because I really want people to know what it would be like to, we're going to that second meeting now, and I do want to do a little bit of a clinic on that next meeting. Um, how does it start? When does Mortgage Coach come into play and you start showing the numbers? Give us a little lesson on how Hunter delivers that presentation experience.
Well, in full disclosure, as you well know, I do every single lead intake, and Erica does about 80% of the mortgage coach pre-approval calls. So
Tell Erica to come jump on Zoom right now and we'll have her walk us. I'm kidding. But tell
I was
us
going to
what
say what
you
she
how you
said.
think she does it.
No,
Give
but I
us
know, but I do them. Like one of the ones I sent you is mine. I mean, I'm not like
well,
but
which one is yours? I got two of them. One of
mine's
them is
the
2 million.
cross collateralized bridge loan. The
Okay,
sec this
I got that one right here. So why don't you tell us when the presentation? And by the way, was it on Zoom?
It was on the initial call was on Zoom with me, and then the follow-up call was actually the follow-up call. These people, these elderly people, they were traveling, they couldn't take the call. So I just did the video for the mortgage coach, walking him through the presentation. They then, Dave, funny enough, they sent the presentation, and I said it on the video. You'll see. I mean, I don't know if you want to listen to the whole video right now, but um, I sent the presentation. I gave them the audio portion of walking them through the numbers. And I told them, hey, I fully understand. You know, this is an 86-year-old guy and a 64-year-old lady. You know, you got tens of thousands of dollars worth of fees. You got interest rates in the 10.5% range. So I automatically, it's like I am always more than happy to jump on a call with your financial advisor. You're also more than welcome to forward this to the financial advisor for their review. They forwarded it to the financial advisor. He calls me 5 days later and now wants to meet with me, use me, and loves the product, right? I mean, so it's like that's all through, honestly. I mean, I'm blowing you up on this, all through Mortgage Coach. I mean, it's like he's like, what is that? What is the software that you use to provide that presentation? I've never seen anything like it. And I'm like, oh, it's funny. It's a buddy of mine that owns this company or sold some of it, whatever. So anyway, but to be
Cool.
able
Well,
to
first of
do
all, that
that,
was a little bonus, and a reminder to everyone, guys. Like this is the mortgage coach experience that he's referring to, and we'll share a link to it so you can
that one's
listen.
Erica. That one's Erica.
Oh, then this one.
But by the way, if you want me to walk through this, Dave, real quick, I mean, like I can, I'm happy to. I mean, this one, well, this is the cross collateralized bridge loan. So yeah, I mean, I gave them that we talked about the fact. I always tell everybody, it's like, look, guys, when you're doing a cross collateralized bridge loan, it's great in the sense that these people are, because the other thing everyone has to worry about is if you're doing any type of a bridge loan, if you're doing buy before you sell, oftentimes, and this is where you need to be talking to people, oftentimes you're dealing with a non-QM product that allows you to back out the debt to allows you to back out the departing debt and property taxes and everything else. So which is going to have a higher interest rate than the current market is at, which also means if you don't have trust established with these people, they're going to EPO you, in which case you shouldn't have done the product in the first place if you don't trust them enough to not do that for you, right? Because I mean, buy before you sell is typically it's always going to change depending on what someone's financial situation is. But a lot of the times, if you're choosing to do a buy before you sell, and you're backing out the departing residents, it means that you're choosing a non-QM product, which is going to have a slightly higher interest rate, which means after they sell their house, you're going to have the opportunity to refinance them into a longer term product when they pay everything off. So with that being said, to be able to walk people through that, which is actually the other presentation, this one is just a cross collateralized bridge loan, which is useful for people typically that are going to pay all cash. It's an elderly couple. That's the other problem, right? If you're not doing a cross collateralized bridge loan, you're choosing a product where you're begging them to stay in the loan for 6 months, whatever, even though they don't want to have the payments beyond that period of time. Um, so yeah, Dave, this is a product where you can take a combination of the departing residents, the new residents. It's a formula of, do you want me to walk you through the product?
Yeah, you want to? I mean, it's up
No,
to
I mean,
you.
not
I mean,
really. I mean, I'm happy
I
to.
don't think we need to get into product because the
Yeah.
point I want people to learn, like, have a playbook, have plays. If, key concepts are the processes in that, and then the skills. Like if you cannot create a mortgage coach, if you cannot deliver a presentation to explain that to a consumer, it's not a great play. Like you're not
It's not
running
a
the
it's
winning
not a
play.
great play.
It's not a
And
great
if
play. Even if it's a rate and term refi, like could you just tell someone that, oh, hey, I can lower your payment by $353 a month? Like, okay, that's a play. Or like Jeremy, and I bet you do
right.
the same. Hey, I
Yep.
can lower your payment by $353 a month. Or we could do that same refi and we could keep making that same payment. You could pay off your house 7 years earlier, saving yourself 250,000 in interest. That's a better play. And
It's a
then
better play.
and then oh well, I want to wait till next year. Well, we can refinance when rates come down, and you can show the next loan when rates get to 5.25. We can refi again. That's a
Yep.
better play. Like you're going to
Yep.
score more touchdowns running better plays.
Yep. And the other, I will say this too with you on this one. Doing yes, I know that I'm in a market where you have higher end clients, you have bigger loan amounts. You know, it's a blessing and a curse because it's also a complete pain to compete in this environment with everyone that's got private banking relationships. Period. But the forwarding this to financial advisors, and to your point, when you can't get better at them without doing them, which is something that took me 5 or 6 years to do with you. Um, but the more you do, the financial advisors basically, I mean, the feedback that I've gotten from people that get these forwarded to someone else with my voice and my explanation of what I'm walking through and my own, that they can hear my strategy and my thought process as to what I'm delivering for the client. It just like this is where I think people have to think more, right? Like if you don't know me and someone calls you and says, "Hey, my lender." 90% of lenders have a bad reputation, right? So if you're a financial advisor, you're automatically on the defense to go, okay, the guy's probably, I don't want to say he's a dirtbag, but like I don't necessarily trust trust the mortgage person that you're talking to. And now the mortgage person is talking to you about $40,000 worth of fees and a 10.5% interest rate. You're 86 years old. They're probably trying to screw you, take advantage of you, whatever. Instead, you get this clearly articulated video that says, here's what we're trying to do. I understand that the rates seem high right now. Bridge loans, interest rates are high on them. When we look at the difference from you having to find storage, walking through all of that, moving out, getting a rental property, it actually is, it's not a horrendous deal, but it's also completely up to you. Your financial advisor is more than welcome to call me. I'm happy to walk him through the same presentation that we walk through together. There's just a level of trust where that guy reached out to me. I mean, literally, the guy wants to go have a beer with me now. I mean, it's like all because of that mortgage coach and that presentation.
Powerful guys. That's another
So,
play. Every time you create this advice at scale, you make sure that you're getting have them share it with people. If they mention that they have a financial advisor, encourage them to forward it. If you know they're going to forward it, you could actually in the video or the audio, you could speak to that person. Um, I know we're going to have to let you go in 8 minutes. I would love, let me see, out of all these plays, give us a high level on how you use Mortgage Coach and the fact that you're running better plays than other loan officers. How do you position that with a realtor? Like, what is your play or series of plays so that realtors know the value you're giving with these presentations? Like, I know once upon a time you were doing seller buy downs for
yep.
for realtors. What are some plays that would make all the mortgage coaches on this more valuable with realtors or build their brand with realtors, get more leads from realtors as a
With
mortgage
this.
coach?
Yeah. So again, it is different people. We're all at different stages of our career, right? So if I'm out there trying to get new realtors, first of all, I would be showing them, just like I share my LP. As soon as I talk to a lead, I send them all of my information. I send them all of the notes. You should be doing the same with any realtors that you have, right? So Dave, if you're the prospect that I just did this whole presentation for, And what I always use Dana as an example, I would forward that to Dana to say, Dana, I just want to let you know, here's the presentation that I put together for Dave and Lucy so that we're crystal clear on the numbers. And then I would walk her through the video too on what she's looking at, how she should be looking at it. Because for me, I'm always trying to sabotage the competition to say, does your other lender use a platform like this? Do you know how? And if you're not using, if you've never talked to the realtor before, or if you're just talking to them for the first time and you don't have a lead to share with them, just give them an example. I mean, just say it's like, Dave, this is a scenario that I sent to another client of mine, not referred to you. This is the platform that we use to make sure that we are always covering exactly what cash to close is going to look like, exactly what payments are going to look like. We're going to do this for your client every single time we're making offers. I just wanted to give you some exposure so you can see how we operate. I mean, that's what I would do. If you have, but again, Dave, going back to the different plays, if you work with someone already, or you're just starting to work with someone, just like I did with that financial advisor, forward it to them. Hey, this isn't your job to be in this, but I want you to see what we're sending to your clients. It's important for me for you to understand what your client's experience is with us.
I'm gonna give you guys a couple scripts on this right now, but I want to see what Hunter thinks of them, and then we're gonna let Hunter jump. So if I got this one from Daniel Saw, who I know you know from your days in the core,
Yeah.
but a part of the way he positions himself with realtors is I'm going to help get your buyer super excited about buying a home in this market, and he uses Mortgage Coach to do that. And I have a process and a platform to help coach them so they win in multiple offer situations. So, what are your thoughts on if it's a realtor to like speak to them in a tailored way on, hey, this is what I use, this is the platform I use so that your customers super motivated to buying and they're clear and they're confident, and it's going to get them positioned so that if they have to make offers in multiple situations, I'm making them clear. What are your thoughts on that play and that positioning of Mortgage Coach in that way? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say two things. One, there's the assumptive close where you almost don't even mention Mortgage Coach. You just say, hey, these are the numbers that I provided to the client to help them understand why them paying an extra $20,000 over the life, compared to what they want to go in at initially, it's going to change their payments by $130 a month. And for them to have the house is, whatever it's easy for them to accomplish based on debt to income ratios. Here's the presentation I provided to them. I think that there's that, right, that's the financial advisor one, right? I didn't brag about Mortgage Coach. They just got to see what the platform was that I used. Or you could just be more intentional about it and call it out as, hey, this is MC, this is what it is, this is the total cost
I
analysis.
don't know. It's
So
not about the tech. By the way, I like the numbers guys, and with financial advisors, because that was my wheelhouse as an originator. It was always about this is what I do so that your people, if I'm talking to a financial advisor, are going to be better customers of yours, and they're going to save more money, they're going to invest more money, and let me show you how that's going to happen. Or I'm always making it so that it's more valuable for their clients and it's more valuable for them because of the way that I'm delivering advice and value.
yeah, and I'll leave this too, like going back to reversing the lens, like if you have a conversation with someone at one point in time, the amount of people that don't take notes, right? So you follow up, you don't give them information a lot of times. You're trusting them to write stuff down, right? Or the information that you're giving them is at a moment in time, whatever. When we can go back and see the amount of times that people are opening up our presentations and reviewing them, like I think that's as valuable as any other component. I mean, whether or not it's the timing on just knowing on Mondays who's thinking about making offers, right? I mean, it's basically telling us who's thinking about making offers because they're looking at stuff. And it gives us a window. It gives people the opportunity to go back and be clear with numbers. I mean, it's just that simple. I know it sounds so freaking simple, but I mean, I just think of the amount of times where someone gives me information, I don't remember it, I can't retain it, I don't know where to go look for it. And here you've got this presentation every single time, and you're updated when people are reviewing them.
So
And
I'm going
by
to
the
let you
way, for
go
the
in a
people that
minute.
are shopping you, you get to freaking shut them off. I mean, that's one of our favorite things to do on the team is someone tells us that they're leaving us to go work with another lender, and they're still using our mortgage coach presentations, and then we get to shut them down so they don't get to view them anymore. It's just a little win.
Ooh, by the way, that was a little nugget. So by the way, I'm going to go the full hour and share a couple more scripts with everybody. So stay here. But Hunter, I want to let you go within 1 minute. Closing thoughts. Like pretend that you're speaking to that group of loan officers that, is your division and they watched all of this. What is your closing thought?
My closing thought, Dave, is that I've said it 1,000 times, my business partners have to believe they're going to be more successful with me as their lender. My clients have to believe they have a greater chance of home ownership with me doing their loans. And Mortgage Coach and the process of giving people information is absolutely, I would say, the top three things in our playbook that allows us to actually everyone when you say those statements, right, the next question obviously for everybody is, okay, well, how? And I would just say that Mortgage Coach for us allows us to execute on the value that we promise people. So
Boom. Bro, I'm right on time. Good luck on your next meeting. Thank you
thanks,
so much,
brother.
my brother.
I'll talk to you
Appreciate
later.
you. Let's go.
Peace. See you, brother.
All right, guys. So for everybody watching this, we still have a big group. I would love to know where you're at as a mortgage coach. So if like if you know the belts, Hunter's a grandmaster. He's done over 1,000 TCAs. Some of you on this, you don't use Mortgage Coach. You're not using Trust Engine. And then I want to give you a couple scripts, whether you are or aren't. Now, to use these scripts, you need to want to be an incredible advisor. And I do recommend, this is the first week in November. And if you're not, like Hunter's an incredible advisor. But by the way, the scripts I'm going to give him, he would get value from doing this, but he's got so much business. I mean, he did 22 million last year. He's not going to do it. If you were a brand new loan officer, this would what I'd make you do. First month, I'd make you just get Mortgage IQ and learn how to speak Mortgage Coach, teach you how to talk to AI to help answer scenario questions. But the next month, I would have you use this script. Call everybody that you know that is a renter and say, hey, I'm new. I need your help. I need to get really good at helping inspire and create confidence with people that are renting that they could own now, or help them have a game plan so that they could buy a home and own it within a year. Do you mind if I practice my first time home buyer conversation with you and give you a playbook, whether you're ready to buy now or later? By the way, if you were new in the business and you were calling people that everybody would let you play the game, or at least 90% of them. And then you would get really good at having that first time home buyer conversation using the Mortgage Coach rent versus own conversation. You'd get really good at doing that. And then I'd say for the first month, you're going to do that until you've done at least 20 conversations. And then the next month, it would be you're going to call everybody who's a homeowner and say, hey, I need to get really good at helping homeowners make the best decision to achieve their financial goals. People have more debt than ever. People have more equity than ever. A lot of cases, people could be moving up and they should be moving up. Sometimes they could become real estate investors and they don't know it. Some people are positioned to buy the second home and they don't know it. Some people want to move down, but really optimizing debt and equity and helping them achieve their financial goals. Do you mind if I just practice with you and then like Hunter did, ask strategic questions. I'll get that document that he had. So we'll put the intake document. There'll be a link down below if you're watching this in LinkedIn. And then the only other thing that I think every loan officer needs is to be optimizing their database. So while here at Trust Engine, we have this app. And so for all the individual loan officers, no, this is not available for individual loan officers yet. or we actually are thinking about coming out with a version for individual LOs. By the way, if you'd like that, let me know, what, if you'd like, if we came up with an individual user version of this. But basically, we're monitoring a database. And by the way, if you work for a company, let your manager know. We'd love to demo this for them. But we're monitoring the database for who's eligible for a loan. So like who's eligible to move up, who's eligible to be a first-time home buyer. And then we're scoring it based off of propensity, who's most likely to do it. So if you were new in the business, get really good at having that conversation, and then literally just get your database into the Trust Engine platform. And then when you get someone who looks like they're eligible to buy a home, we're giving you the scripts. Now, by the way, I'm showing our platform. If you're on this call, you should know your scripts. Like maybe it's not, I'm saying the same thing to every person, but you've got a basic, you heard how careful Hunter is with his words. You know what to say when you text. You know what to say when you email. So I am going to stop sharing my screens, see what questions have come in. Please come out with okay, Brad, Roger that, brother. Carrie would love it. Let's see, business. I'm just going to do Q&A for 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to wrap it. So Paul, I just saw your message about Hunter records every lead on Zoom. And we didn't be able to get more detail, but I mean, I've interviewed him enough times to know, and then interviewed enough top producers, but there's a whole lot of Zoom discovery calls going on. There's still nothing better than an in-person meeting, having someone come into your office, but most of the top producers that are doing business at scale, like Jay Kroll out of Seattle, pre-COVID, he was still meeting with over 50% of his first-time clients in his office. But I know that he's now, replaced a lot of that with Zoom. So Zoom is the place to have the most impact. Remember with MortgageCoach, it's got that auto, that live feature that you can use. Let's see if there's any new questions that have come in. No news questions. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's call 2 minutes early. Hopefully you've gotten value from this. If you have not already started following the mortgage or trustengine.com 10X page, make sure that you're following it. We did just update that. So I want to close out just reminding you guys how to get access to this. This is where you get training and coaching on how to be an elite advisor. So if you're new to MortgageCoach, at the very bottom, it's got videos teaching you and training you how to do everything. As you scroll up, we have live training every single day of the week. Right now, this is the Tuesday 10X interview. So every Tuesday, I am interviewing top producers like Hunter, what to do. But on Wednesday, we're teaching how to use our technology to deliver advice. Thursdays, Q&A on everything from how to use MortgageCoach to scripts and strategies on around our Trust Engine app. Every Monday, we're basically there teaching people how to use our platform or demoing it. Like if we have a lot of people that are just there for a sales call and they want to get demoed, sign up for that. And then every Friday, it's about just overall success as a mortgage professional, masterminds. And then as you scroll to the top, I pick the best interviews I've done that I think are just most on point for the past 30 to 60 days. Right now, optimizing purchase business. These are 3 out of, 1 or 2 videos a week. 3 of the best are absolute must-watch videos. When it comes to optimizing refis, there'll be a 3rd one added here any day now, but these are the 2 best. And the 3rd one that's coming any day now will be right here. When it comes to winning with rate shoppers, the 3 best. And for all you managers, currently, these are what I consider to be the 2 must-watched videos that will help you turn your loan officers into Trust Engine-powered mortgage coaches. So take care, everybody. Hope you got value from today's call. Oh, by the way, on that same page, if you are not currently a member, there's a link to sign up. And if you want to get a demo of the Trust Engine loan officer app, just ask for a demo in the Let's Connect button. Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.